Hey y'all, welcome and or welcome back to my channel, The Lavish Budget, where we chop it up and I try to get my finances in order. So if that's something that you're interested in, stay tuned.
You say nothing's wrong at all, baby. I say that we're falling off, baby.
So today we are going to be talking about the one thing that makes almost everyone uncomfortable, which is debt. So this video may be a little bit longer. I'll see if I can cut it down to be no more than 20 minutes. But, some people are into longer videos, so we'll see how that goes as I work through my debt. So just the word debt almost feels like shameful, no matter what type of debt it is. Like, it could be student loan debt, it could be medical debt, it could be consumer debt. Like, it's all seen as the same. Although, like, some debt is necessary to make progress in life, right? So I took out student loans to get my bachelor's degree, and then through having that type of education and making those connections, I was able to get my master's degree for free. So that, I think, is something that was necessary for me to do. However, it is still something that I need to pay back. And then, medical debt, things happen. You have to pay for things. And then consumer debt. We all have a little bit of it, right? So just thinking about that, like, it never really feels good. And sometimes it just like causes people anxiety. And I'm definitely one of those people. Like, when I think about the money that I owe people and just having to pay something monthly, it just makes me uncomfortable and I don't like it at all. But today I'm going to make this plan for how I'm going to tackle all of this debt so that in the future I can be debt free. So I have my Experian app open and it has all my debt broken down into categories. So first I'm going to start just by listing out the debts that I do have and then going through each of them and kind of like coming up with like a plan of action that may or may not change. But let's start creating this plan. So starting off with my largest debt, which is my student loans, while they are on the lower side, it is still about 50% of my current debt. So as of today, in total for student loans, I owe $13,967.40. So had that the Joe Biden bill situation, had that gone the way that many of us had hoped it had gone, I wouldn't have any of this debt because I had got TAP and Pell when I was going to school. So I would have gotten the 20,000 instead of the 10. I would have got a 20,000, and that would have wiped out my entire balance of student loans. But here we are. They're back into repayment, and I do not want interest to continue to grow on them. So I'm going to be working on paying them. So my student loans are broken up into two different loans. I'm thinking about maybe consolidating them. I'm not sure. We'll see. I'm going to give them a call and see what that kind of looks like. But I'm just going to label them 1 and 2. My first one, which is the larger one, is $10,028.83. And that has an interest rate of 3.75%. This is a fixed interest rate. It will not change. It's been this same interest rate since I got my loans. And then the second one, which is a lot lower, is $3,941.44 with the same interest rate of 3.75%. So my goal for the end of 2024 is to have this second one paid off, right? It's about $4,000. I think that I can manage $4,000. So as of right now, together, I pay $114.66 a month towards my student loans. And what I've noticed, which is something I've been told by the company that I cannot change, which I wish I could, was that not much of it goes to my principal. Most of it goes to the interest. So when I currently looked at it, it said that only $23 had gone to my principal and the rest went to interest, which, I mean, I hate, because if my principal were to go down, then the interest that it accrues would be less. So I guess that's the way they get you. So what I think I'm going to do is, starting in 2024, I'm going to add an additional $100, which is something that I figured out that I can do. I'm going to make an additional $100 payment going directly to this second loan only. So it'll split this between the two, and then my second loan will get an additional $100. And so by the end of 2024, whatever my remaining balance is, I think I'm going to use one of my saving challenges to just pay off whatever it is that I have remaining. So I do have a couple of saving challenges that will give me about this one that's going to give me $2,500. I think I'm going to do a 52-week challenge. I'm definitely going to do a $10,000 challenge. So I'm going to use some of my savings challenge money to go towards whatever is left at the end of 2024, once I've continued to pay on it for that year. So next up, I have some medical debt. It is not super atrocious as of yet, as many of you know, if you do have already subscribed. If you are new, I do have a baby on the way, and my health insurance is terrible, honestly. I have a very, 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 very high deductible. So a lot of the cost of my medical care comes directly out of my pocket. And yes, I do have an HSA. However, sometimes things do come up that I did not account for. Deductibles change, copays change. One day my copay can be $180. The next day my copay can be $250. And so those are things that I did not necessarily account for when I set up my HSA. So I end up having to pay those things out of pocket. So I did actually just finish paying off some dental work that I had done. So I was able to knock that out. Made my last payment for October 15th. So right now, I do have 2 payment plans that I'm under. And so just gonna again label them 1 and 2. My first bill is $1,093.56. And then the second is $1,036.35. And so they do not have bear any interest. Thank God for that. And so right now for my first one, I'm currently paying $160 a month for this one. And for the second one, I did a 4 payment plan because I wanted to knock it out by the end of the year. I don't want to go into next year with an excruciating amount of debt. So this one, I'm just going to round it up. It's like $259 and some change. It's going to be $260 bi-monthly. So the money will come out November 1st, November 15th, December 1st, December 15th. And then it'll be paid off. And then I'll be able to wipe that off of my debt, which I'm very happy about. So now moving into the debt that I hate the most, honestly, which is consumer debt. I dread this the most and pretty much have been ignoring it and like just paying the bare minimum. So like my bare minimum payments for most of them are like $25, and that's all I've been giving. And obviously it doesn't make a dent because the payment barely covers the interest, right? I make sure that it stays under the maximum amount that I can use. Pregnancy brain, I cannot remember the word for that. Oh my gosh. We're just gonna, the maximum, what is that called when it's the, anyway, I make sure that I pay enough to keep it under my total line of credit, but not enough to really do anything. So what I think I'm going to do with only my consumer debt, because I kind of just have a plan for these separately, but for my consumer debt, I'm going to do a debt snowball for those. So I have, for my consumer debt, there is Capital One, I have Comenity, which used to be Wayfair. I had got a washing machine from them, so I have to pay that back, obviously. I have a Barclays card. And then I also have a Credit One bank card. So they're not in the correct order. I'm actually going to go through and number them for the debt snowball because I'm going to start doing that in the coming year. Right now, for both November and December, I'm just going to pay the minimum, continue to pay whatever the minimum is. And then next year, when I start my budget over for 2024, I'm going to include what the debt snowball will be for these four credit cards. So my Capital One, which I believe is the most, is almost $3,000. It's $2,906. My community bank is $1,716. My Barclays is $1,460. And then my Credit One, which is the second highest, is $2,466. I didn't even look up these interest rates, which I'm not really worried about. And like I said, I'm just going to be paying the minimums for right now. And then next year, I will really get deep into what the interest rates are and how much I need to be putting towards each of these to get it paid off for the year. So I've gone ahead already and totaled these up. So as it stands, with my student loan, my medical debt, and my consumer debt, my total debt is $24,648.57. So this is where I'm at, and it kind of gives me anxiety. I don't like looking at the number, which is kind of one of the reasons why I have ignored it, but it does kind of give me a sense of relief being, for lack of a better word, that most of that comes from my student loan debt, right? And so for consumer debt, I'm a little under, so let's say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and change, almost $9,000, which is not great. I'm not saying like, oh, it's only $9,000, that's not bad. No, it's terrible. But it does give me some relief to know that most of that is coming from my student loan debt. And I'm just going to work towards that. It's a bare minimum payment. And like I said, hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have money saved up to just pay this off. And then the only debt I will then have, by the grace of God, is my one student loan debt that I will have to pay off. So what I'm going to do at the start of the year, I am going to do a recap of my debt. So going into what my debt snowball will look like for my consumer debt. And then I'm also going to do one video per quarter to kind of just like a recap of what's happening and just going through like a check-in of my debt. So I'll do a video at the end of March, the end of June, the end of September, and then finally ending off the year, figuring out how much money I need to pay off using my savings challenges towards the second student loan and to my consumer debt. By that time, these both should be paid off, so it's not anything I really need to worry about. And so I will only have this one student loan left by the end of the year. So please wish me luck. Well, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out my Etsy shop, The Lavish Candle Bar. The link will be down in the description so you can check me out for all of your candle needs. Bye.